Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss a very famous novel by Nathal Hawthorne uh, of a 19th century novel. It's it's something like all this time you have been watching in your Bollywood movies. In fact, these movies are inspired by such great novels. The name of the novel is The Scarlet Letter. You understand the word scarlet. It's deep blood red. And this particular novel was written in the time when Puritanism, religion was very dominant in the society. The society was not free as it is now, especially for the woman. So this particular novel is all about a woman being ostracized, a woman being thrown out of the society because she has committed adultery, and that was considered as sin. But before I proceed, I would like to know one thing. What is the difference between sin and crime? Yes, crime is something that people or somebody does against the society, against the law. But sin is something is done against the religion, against God. And this is all about sin. So this particular session is about sin and redemption. I am Ravi Shankar Panikar, Assistant Professor, BIT Raipur, and this video is created for Hemchand Yadav University, Durg. This session is on sin and redemption in as a major theme in Scarlet Letter. As I told, sin is something that is performed against God, against religion. And this particular theme is one of the most dominant themes in Hawthorne's novel. As you see in the figure, this is the famous forbidden fruit, the apple. There's the snake and Eve's hand. The first sin was performed by Adam and Eve. And what was that? You must have read it in Paradise Lost. Of man's first act of disobedience and the taste of that forbidden fruit that brought death on earth. So Eve disobeyed and bit the apple which was forbidden by God. God has asked not to eat that. They were thrown out of the paradise, and from an immortal being and the best creation of God, they turned into mortal being. And simultaneously, redemption also followed. What kind of redemption they had? They had the knowledge, they had the learning. In Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter, Hester Prynne, Arthur Dimmesdale, and Sellingworth, these are the three characters, have committed sin, yet they find a way of redemption. In the session, we will see how they commit the sin, what are the sin, and who all are there who perform the sin, and how they are redeemed. Now, you have to understand the word redemption. आप पाप करते हैं तो प्रायश्चित करते हैं, पश्चाताप करते हैं, क्योंकि ये दोनों करने से ही आपको ऐसा लगता है कि आप नर्क में नहीं जाएंगे, आप मोक्ष को प्राप्त होंगे, और यही आपके अच्छे कर्म, all the good deeds is what redeem you. So let's see the sin part. Hawthorne presents the after effects of a sin, the primary aspect in the lives of Hester Prynne, Arthur Dimmesdale, and Roger Shillingworth. Sin by Hester Prynne and Dimmesdale. We'll discuss this sin first. They commit adultery. They are the ones. Hester Prynne is married to Shillingworth, but she has an affair with this reverend priest and a very high position person, Arthur Dimmesdale. She falls in love. They go into emotions and they commit adultery, and that actually destroys three lives, as a child is born out of this adultery and hence considered as an illegitimate child. Imagine a woman giving birth to an illegitimate child in the 19th century. She was considered as a pure evil because she has broken the taboo. She has fallen into a path where nobody has tread. Hester Prynne's sin is that she breaks the taboo of the society by falling in love outside her wedlock and gives birth to an illegitimate child. She also performs adultery. The society believes her to be a prolific sinner as she does not give away the pressure of the public and reveal the name of the co-sinner. She is so firm that she doesn't tell the name of the co-sinner, the person who has fathered the child. Arthur Dimmesdale's sin is far greater than that of Hester. Now, he is accomplice. He is the one who is the co-sinner. Although they both are partners in the sin of adultery, but his sin was bigger as he did not accept the sin and also did not come in public to declare that he is the father of Pearl, the illegitimate child in Hester's lap. Now, what happens? There is a person. There is Hester on one hand who has performed the sin, who has committed the sin, and readily accept that she is not ashamed for what she has done. And on the other hand, the partner of her sin is not ready to accept, and he stands as a bigger sinner. He is a bigger sinner for the society as well as he is a hypocrite. He has done all that things, and is very proudly moving here and there, and everybody respects him. And that is why he is a bigger sinner, because he acts hypocritic. He continues to preach about morality, and people admired him. Roger Shillingsworth, the husband of Hester Prynne, is always on the search of Hester's lover, who is the father of illegitimate child. His son is not fulfilling his duties, his evil intentions and his plans to publicly sham the lover of his wife is he always keeps on planning. So he is also a sinner, because neither he is able to love his wife, neither he is able give her attention, or else she would have got no reason to move to some other man. And he keeps pursuing the two, full with vengeance and ideas of further destroying his wife's life. Now, fourth party of this sign is the society. The society also commits sin by punishing a woman who followed her heart. They have put her behind bars, kept tormenting her. They are the sinners because they have made all kinds of laws that are convenient to them only. The society, like Dimsdale, is also commits the sin of being hypocritic. Now they are the ones who praise these kind of people who behind their back they perform all kinds of these bad things. The rules are different for man and woman. That is why society is also a sinner. Now this is the stock of all the sin that has been performed. Let's talk of redemption. Now, dictionary says redemption is an action by which a soul is saved from evil. Now, all these people they have performed. When the novel opens, all the sins have already been performed. We know who later we the author tells who has done what. In the novel, the sinners Hester Prynne and Dimmesdale are redeemed from the sin. How does Hester Prynne redeem from the sin? A woman who has made to wear a symbol of letter A round her neck to remind her of the sin she has committed never gives up. Now, since she never gives up, since she is a pure in heart and is committed towards her passion, she manages to win the hearts of the same people who have been her tormentors. Now, how does Hester Prynne get redeemed? Hester Prynne embraces the sin. She doesn't run away from it. She doesn't run away from it. Her different ways, she's very rock solid. Her determination, her firmness makes her different. She wins her freedom. The letter A went from a symbol of shame, that she is wearing a letter A around her neck. The letter A went from a symbol of shame, calling her an adulterer, to a symbol of A that was turned into an able. That's how she has transferred from an adulterer to an able lady. Hester helps the women of the society in their needs. She redeems herself by solving problems of those women who were in similar situation that of her. She redeems herself by remaining a doting single parent. She doesn't remarry. She never marries again. She isolates herself from the society, this time willingly. She redeems by forgiving Dimmesdale and not publicly shaming him. Hello. Continuing with the sin and redemption part, we have already discussed the sin and redemption of Hester Prynne. Let's see how does Arthur Dimmesdale, the co-sinner along and the lover of Hester Prynne, comes up with his redemption. How is he saved from going to the devil? Arthur Dimmesdale, he is also redeemed despite being a bigger sinner than Hester. He is the co-sinner in the sin of adultery, but he is too meek to accept that he has fathered the child that we have already discussed. But with the passage of time, the burden of the guilt wore too much on him, and he started punishing himself. Now, usually, what happens when you start feeling the guilt that of the sin you performed, you look for ways through which you can save your soul. You look for forgiveness. Then he starts punishing himself. And how does he punish himself? In the further slides you'll see he tries to redeem himself by trying to coax Hester to elope with him. To uh, he told he tells that I am going to accept the pearl as a child, and we'll start with a new life. He tries to coax the lady. Despite all the attempt of Hester, he finally boards the scaffold and declares that he is the father of Pearl and he is the real culprit. Of course, he dies after that because he gets too weak, and he also develops a kind of a wound in within his body. This confession helps him redeem. So the biggest lesson is, if you confess to your sin, there are every chances that God is going to forgive you. He tries various methods to punish himself. What are the various methods? In the examinations, you have to write the various methods through which Dimsdale looks for redeeming himself. He goes for penance, he goes for vigils, he kept fast, and even restores to flagellation. Now, what is flagellations? You must have seen during this Navdurga and Chaitra Durga, celebration processions, where some people and especially during Muharram time, they inflict they beat themselves with hunters, they beat themselves with whips. Some of them have got iron small wires at the end, and that causes a lot of pain, that causes a lot of cuts in the body, and it's a kind of self-punishing himself. And so he wants to punish himself for the sin that he has done, and through that punishing himself, he tries to redeem. Now let's see, the guilt slowly starts showing in his health. His redemption happens when he too develops a scarlet wound in his body near his heart. Interestingly, the wound resembled the letter A. Now, what he has done, he has not accepted. He has been roaming around like a very proud man, but nature takes its own course. The burden of the guilt bears so much on him that he grows weak, and within that body it comes up a wound in itself near the heart. The letter is A. His final redemption comes when he dies after seeking forgiveness from Hester and society. Now, this is the way he gets a redemption. And to conclude this, the novel is a complex saga of sin and redemption. The one who embraces it has to look into this. Sin has got three ways he impacts. The one who embraces his Hester. The one who concealed it and bear the burden of the sin is Dimmesdale. The one who is after the sinner and is consumed in revenge is Shillingworth. Still, at the end, none of them is sent to evil. All are redeemed. So, forgiveness, committing a crime, staying firm to one's own decision has been one of the very big factors. And Hawthorne's beauty lies in giving more power to the lady and making her so passionate that even the reader, like the society, forgets what sin of adultery she had made, and they all sing praise of her. So this is what sin and redemption is. Sin and redemption not only happens in the novel, but sin and redemption happens in the mind of the reader as well. I hope you will be able to uh, do good in your exam when this question would come. Thank you. Stay safe. Stay healthy.